back to the North American LCS, everybody. I'm David Freak Turley, and joining me at the analyst desk for our next two games is Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler.
How's it going?
That was like a really entertaining face. I'm here. It's good. All right, thumbs up. That's what we got. Well, we want to circle back to our Twitter question of the day now. At the start of the show, we asked you, what's your favorite rivalry in the North American LCS and why? And here's what you've been saying. At Cyber Police says we haven't seen it yet, but a new rivalry between Cloud9 and LMQ would be awesome. Just a year ago, C9 was in LMQ's shoes. Believe the hype.
Okay, I'll give them to that. I mean, there's a lot of rivalries with Cloud9. I guess everybody has a rivalry with what was the top team of North America.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you got the 4-0 start. Like, maybe that's the thing, right? No, not everyone believed the C9 hype train when that came out, and they were the best team in North America.
C9 playing now.
Yeah, see if they can do it. It's going to be a fun one. Next up, at Scram Nave says TSM and CLG hands down. They had some of the most exciting games in LOL history, and new talent plus old talent equals amazing games.
Yeah, I mean, I love this rivalry, even though their players are constantly changing. CLG, I can't even remember the last time they started a split with a roster that they had the previous split. They're always bringing in new people. TSM now doing it as well. It just keeps things fresh.
Yeah, it's been interesting for the entire time. Well, next up, Forbidden Tensei says, my favorite rivalry is Cloud9 versus TSM. It's been a tense battle over first ever since C9 joined, and it still is.
Another one of those Cloud9 rivalries. I do like that one, though. Those two were the top two battling it out last split.
Yeah, TSM's still trying to fight back the roster issues, but we'll see if they can get back to the top in this one. Next up, UWE 726318555. I wish that were something in Leap, but I can't decipher it. It's got to be Dig versus Baron. You never know what's going to happen next, but you can be sure it's going to be entertaining.
I always got to throw one of those jabs in at Dig.
Got to throw a jab? Yeah, I mean, it's how it goes. Yeah, Dignitas, they've had a storied history. They're getting better at it, though. They had a couple of really decided Baron fights.
Decided?
Yeah, well, Zion said that it was on cooldown until week 4.
Okay.
We're going to throw out Baron until week 4. Hopefully that's the case for these guys. Well, thanks to everyone for writing in, and if you're not already, be sure to follow us on Twitter. We are at LOL Esports. Now we're going to throw it over to Riv and Jat for our next game, but on the way, Crumbzz says that in the battle of the solo lanes with LMQ, he gives the edge to Dignitas.
I don't think their playstyle is really that aggressive.
Oh my gosh, a 3-man minute, 4.5 minutes into the game.
They said that their playstyle is aggressive because their laners win. We have strong laners too. They're going to have to adapt on the fly, and I think we're better at doing that.
Adapting on the fly is kind of something we've been putting in as reactively, and teams who've been playing reactively have been falling behind.
And LMQ's not typically that team that plays reactively. Dignitas as well seemed to have a lot of really good pre-planned strategies until they lost, where they seemed like they wanted to play reactively against Curse.
All right, well, let's lock it in. It's our third game of the day, LMQ versus Team Dignitas. Right now, I have the pleasure of sharing my caster cubicle with Joshua Jat Leesman for these next games. LMQ has possession of first place. Dig is only one game back, and they could actually tie this up right here. And whenever Dignitas goes on a winning streak, they go for a losing. So
it seems like it. LMQ's still on that winning streak, though. They went 4-0 at the start of their LCS careers last week. And we've seen a lot of teams actually come in, make a big splash on the LCS stage, and then later see their momentum slow. And I mean, this week, LMQ has a much tougher schedule. They face off against Dignitas today and Cloud9 tomorrow. So this is going to be a really good test to see how they stand up against the top competition. And it's going to be the question now, are they going to be kind of the next Cloud9 we see in the North American LCS? Or are they going to be more like a team like Mitra Makers, who ended up getting relegated? Or even Rockhat, who's sitting at the bottom of the European LCS?
Right, and LMQ are still feeling out the new league and opponents. But Dignitas is still trying to adjust to their new players. They took off with a 3-0 start, but then they were brought back down to earth by Curse.
Yeah, and at the start of the week, in Super Week, we actually heard Crumbzz saying that you can't look over everyone or anyone. And he was feeling much more confident a couple days later, predicting an easy win over Curse. And wouldn't you know it, that cost them their 4-0 Super Week. They lost to Curse pretty badly. And you can expect them now, they will be more focused on beating LMQ because they're not going to be taking the leaders of the LCS and 4-0 LMQ for granted.
Yeah, we'll get right into the game and check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's LMQ. It's going to be Ackerman in the top lane, your NoName. In the jungle, XiaoWeiXiao in the mid, Vasilii at 80 carry, and more on support.
Yeah, and on the red side, it is Dignitas with ZionSpartan in the top lane, Crumbzz in the jungle, Shiphtur in mid, Imaqtpie on 80 carry, and KiwiKid on support.
And today we're taking a page out of Miss Fortune's book and doubling up on our featured matchups. For this game, we will be watching the mid lane for XiaoWeiXiao versus Shiphtur.
Yeah, this is going to be a great battle, Riv, from two very different stylistic mid laners. Shiphtur's actually been going a lot more for kills and robes, and it costs him in his CS numbers. Look at that. Average CS at 10 is 60.5 to XiaoWeiXiao's 83.3. Shiphtur's the lowest amongst mid laners. XiaoWeiXiao is the highest.
Yeah.
And that's going to be really interesting. XiaoWeiXiao, not only does he get high CS, he denies the enemy mid laner CS. To expand on that, opponents against XiaoWeiXiao have the lowest in the LCS,
right,
and opponents against Shiphtur actually have the highest. So this could be one of those incredibly disparaging games, and whether or not Shiphtur can get kills if he can't keep up in CS may decide it.
The catalyst is in the matchup for XiaoWeiXiao to be winning this one, so we're going to have to see if Shiphtur can come out quite big in this matchup. Looking at LMQ, I loved their statement earlier when they were talking to the players. I think it was Moore who said, I'd pick the entire team, or it was top lane Ackerman. And you're like, that's kind of scary. It's, you know, you'll hear probably say something like, I'd take Shiphtur. So you know people give respect to the other players. And LMQ respects the other players, but they just feel like they're generally better right out the gate.
And they also said that they don't think they showed their best in week 1 when they went 4-0.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, some of that could be related to the strength of schedule. If we look at the records of the opponents against LMQ, the 4 teams they played last week were a combined 4-12. So even if we removed the 4-0 from LMQ, they're still going to be 4-8. They did not play necessarily the top tier of competition. Their toughest game was easily against CLG, and that easily could have went either way. So there's a lot still to learn about these guys, and I feel like this is the game of the day.
Well, with being in first place, you're definitely the one that's head-hunted the most. The most research is going to be done for you. You're not the game to look by. And right now, we're going to see if Dignitas has done their homework coming in against LMQ, your third game of the day.
And this split, more than ever, Dignitas is set to do homework. Skara is now a coach. He doesn't have to focus on the plane. They also have a second analyst/coach in Cast as well. So they have a lot of firepower or horsepower, manpower, whatever you want to call it, to do scouting for them against LMQ. And they banned 3 mid laners.
You have to focus XiaoWeiXiao. It's too much strength. It's an interesting quote, too, from Crumbzz or from the team to say that their solo lanes would be stronger when that's almost what LMQ is known for, having extremely strong lanes.
It's one of their big calling cards. XiaoWeiXiao was the top mid lane performer in Fantasy LCS last week. Obviously put up some great numbers in the 4-0 record as well. Ackerman played Shyvana 4 times, actually. He's the only LCS player to play the same champion in every one of his games in North America here. And he would have a potential to lock it in again here with the Lulu first pick. We just saw EG run that exact same solo lane combo. Shyvana and Lulu have fantastic synergy together.
And we usually see Ackerman on the big guys, but that could also be a top lane Lulu. We saw Dyrus on that today. LMQ always using the tricks from the start. Looks like Lucian gets another quick pickup on the day. Third game, he's going to be second pickup. And the Elise, as we said.
No big surprises there from Dignitas. Imaqtpie has been playing Lucian ever since the spring split when he was actually losing on it a lot. But he's continued with it. And I actually was watching Crumbzz' stream yesterday. He was duo queuing with ZionSpartan, and he said he needs practice on Elise because she's OP and he's playing LCS tomorrow. So he actually lost that game, but he's picking Elise once again.
I think he did some good practice last night.
30-minute queue time when they were duo queuing.
That's what you do, right? You study right before the test, so you remember everything. It's right there.
Absolutely. Top of your mind.
Warm it up. Looks like we could have another Kha'Zix coming in 2 games in a row. Possibly the Shyvana is there. They don't have the top laner, and Dignitas would most likely be picking that up here to leave mid lane in for Shiphtur on that last pick. So the XiaoWeiXiao locks in the Shyvana for Ackerman. He's going to be just continuously playing on that. He's got a whole closet full of Shyvanas. That's all he wears.
5 for 5.
Yep.
I like that right there, because it also hamstrings ZionSpartan's picks a little bit. Even though he does have a big champion pool, of the tanks, ZionSpartan definitely trends towards Shyvana if he has to play one. His next best would obviously be Jax, which is what he would typically pick against Shyvana, but that was LMQ's first ban. So LMQ's choice there, you saw them toggling between Leona and Shyvana. Much smarter to actually lock in Shyvana right there to deny it from ZionSpartan.
Interesting LMQ. Wow. Bans out. I was going to say the Morgana, but ZionSpartan picks up Irelia. This is something actually Seraph was playing a few times last week.
Yeah, we haven't seen too much successful Irelia.
Right, so has tried it too.
Yeah, in the North American or European LCS, it's shown a little bit of success over in Korea. It's kind of coming back as far as the game nowadays is, but it's still not. It doesn't bring the same team fight presence as a Shyvana. ZionSpartan would either look to win with split pushing or in 1v1s, with that being the case.
Look at the things that LMQ gets away with. You're so scared of the mid lane that Twitch passes all the way through. I haven't seen him once today. One of the most picked AD carries gets in the hands of Vasilii. That's dangerous.
I mean, that speaks a little bit to Imaqtpie's preferences more than anything else.
That's true.
I think picking Lucian that much before everything else. And I also really like how that last pick from Shiphtur, knowing the matchup against XiaoWeiXiao is so dependent on the lane, picks probably the best farming champion you can in mid lane for League of Legends to try and keep that in check, make sure XiaoWeiXiao can't shove up the mid lane, and then instead of roaming necessarily, Shiphtur can just throw ults down to the side lanes if he really needs it.
It's kind of like that Ziggs pick is the string on his finger. Remember to keep farming. There it is. All the things locked in now. A lot of zone support coming in here from KiwiKid. Goes back to some Zyra pickups. Was a lover of the initiations on Annie, but KiwiKid can kind of throw anything in support.
Yeah, and I also think KiwiKid's made huge strides in support when he, since he moved that role at the start of the 2014 season.
Right.
And I also feel like Zyra is an incredibly good pick just against LMQ in general. They're such a dive-heavy team, and back when Zyra was a huge pick, it was as that counter initiation. You use it when they dive on top of you to mess everything up. Great pick there for KiwiKid.
Very good job in the champion select. But now that the champs are locked in, let's tabulate the votes over at LOLesports.com. And with 64% of the vote, you're tipping this one in LMQ's favor. But you can update your vote through the game by tweeting the hashtags LMQWin or DIGWin to @LOLesports.
Yeah, the last remaining undefeated team in either LCS, actually. Europe did not have a team go perfect in Super Week, whereas North America absolutely did. With LMQ. A win here for Dignitas as well would tie them for first place in the LCS. It would actually give them possession because they would technically hold the tiebreaker over LMQ. So a lot on the line here, as Dignitas cannot overlook or underestimate LMQ.
The one thing Dig is running with 110% is their changes have to be the best coming in here. Seeing Shiphtur and Xian in the mid lane, they're able to take down Cloud9. They did have that loss to Curse, but flukes happen, things go down, teams will win, teams will lose. We'll see if they can put that cooperation back together against LMQ, who we forget, they have not had the roster changes that everybody else has had, so they're coming in pretty fresh.
And we've seen some very varying results in roster changes. I still want to kind of call back to the start of the day, that COG TSM game. Wherever there were roster changes in that game, they actually kind of struggled to the slightly more experienced teams. There was huge miscommunication at the start of the game between Dexter when they dove for that double kill, and even Glebe had a bad game. This one, though, LMQ's been together for longer than Dignitas, technically speaking, and this might show in their early game coordination. Gets 5 gold.
KiwiKid making money. Looks like he'll push Vasilii out all the way. So for now, they have the AD carry on the bottom side. I know Qi-Lin loves to fight with KiwiKid against his opponent, so if they can get that 2v2 matchup, more than happy. 66-34. LMQ on the top of the list, but not the top of the vote.
You also have to be very careful against a Leona Twitch. A synergy that kind of used to exist that people forget about a little bit is the fact that Twitch's passive will proc Leona's passive at will. So even if Leona uses very quick succession of abilities, you'll always be proccing that Sunlight passive for extra damage from the Twitch-Leona combo, meaning their all-in potential when they catch a single target out is extremely high. And Zyra is an incredibly squishy support. So if we actually do see a 2v2 lane, there is a ton of kill pressure on LMQ's side, which would actually mean I don't think we're going to see 2v2s in this game.
A lot of wards placed deep into the jungler, going to have to tip off LMQ. They'll see
This is a
pressure.
really good timely invade.
Wow, they're going to be able to hold this bush. Oh my god, NoName! How about no HP? That was instant. 2 minutes in, first blood, and a red buff for Crumbzz.
Listen, Rib, we talked about the scouting potential of Dignitas and how much preparation they could put into this LMQ team. And whether or not LMQ was showing any patterns, that very well could have been a pattern. NoName also panicked with that flash. That really shows they had no idea that that would be a potential invade. Dignitas challenges their convention right there, gets the first kill, and gives Crumbzz a big edge in the early jungle.
Also see Shiphtur in the mid lane getting some good damage on XiaoWeiXiao there. See if he can start to push in someone who could really cripple him in CS throughout the game. Everybody trying to go very hard. NoName all by himself on the blue buff. We've seen Subi doing the likes of this down to about 5 HP, and then he lived. But still, the smite for NoName, he's going to be able to use it. But will he be able to really get any help here? If Ackerman is to go with him, he's even farther behind. So they're going to have to split. Good thing he's Shyvana.
Yeah, that's going to be a big farming adventure. And this is the kind of new conventional lanes we're seeing in competitive league. The 2v0 with many roamers. There are a ton of strategic possibilities with this because the only people really constrained to lanes is the AD carry and the mid laners. The supports are free to roam, the junglers are free to roam, and the top laners are free to roam. So vision control becomes even more of a priority. And I feel like a lot of green wards are going to be placed this game to try and keep track of LMQ, a team that has typically been roaming better than all the other teams in the LCS.
More coming down for a little support on the red. Shiphtur nicely winning this lane in HP, forcing a whimsy out of XiaoWeiXiao, probably wishing that he took a flask at this point. Shiphtur is just hitting him with every passive auto attack that he can with that extra damage.
Yeah, that mid lane is pretty much bang even at about 4 minutes because there's extra 3 minions on the side of Shiphtur that he'll be able to hopefully clean up after this one. We have to track the CS edge of XiaoWeiXiao and whether he can pressure Shiphtur out, because especially with the first blood advantage, that mid lane matchup increases greatly in importance.
LMQ buddy system in the jungle as they buddy jungle away. PewDiePie's going to allow this to just flow into the turret. So with that happening, 25-22 on the AD carries as they have themselves a grand old time free farming. And LMQ here to do a little bit of team soak up on the experience in the bot lane. So just free flowing everywhere. A little bit of a rotation here to mid lane on to XiaoWeiXiao.
Yeah, Crumbzz coming in the mid lane as well. Might catch XiaoWeiXiao. Very least he burns a flash.
There's the flash, the cocoon, he flashes in though to make sure the Q would follow up. They're able to repel a turret shot into ZionSpartan. Huge and great roam.
And Riv, this actually all started because of Dignitas' ward control. The ward at the very bottom in the map between those two LMQ turrets told Crumbzz exactly where the roamers of LMQ were, which meant he could fearlessly flash into that turret right here. The execution doesn't actually matter as much. Post-flash, he flashes in to guarantee the stun, and Zion just goes in after because they knew they were safe. It was all about the vision control for Dignitas.
Beautiful job from Crumbzz. Keeping vision up for the team the entire time. A pivotal way that they took down Cloud9 and the way they are using it now to take down LMQ.
Yeah, and Riv, Crumbzz as a jungler, especially throughout Super Week, was so hyper paranoid with vision control. He actually individually bought more green wards than LMQ as a team.
Yep.
Which also makes me think, in this particular matchup, since we're getting the lanes that are more reliant on vision control and have more roamers, the way that Dignitas was playing during Super Week just blends brilliantly with this style of play. And LMQ is a little bit undermanned because they just typically don't buy as many wards based on the strength of their solo lanes.
You can already see right now a pink and a green in the hand of Crumbzz, ready to put them down, as well as ZionSpartan with one of his own visions. And Crumbzz was quick to that sweeper, just like NoName, so they can keep these invades coming. Possibly more kills on XiaoWeiXiao. Shiphtur's staying even for now. Crumbzz now to the bottom lane as he sets that pink down. Looks like they're going to try to start controlling that bottom of the map as Dragon Time is going to be soon.
I think the more important thing about this lane isn't that Shiphtur has 80 or 90 CS at 10. It's that XiaoWeiXiao doesn't. As long as they can keep XiaoWeiXiao's gold starved, we know that Dignitas has practice winning with Shiphtur at lower CS numbers because he's so good at roaming in team fights. Where the same is yet to be true about XiaoWeiXiao. Most of his farm generally comes from the lane, and he will transition that gold value into the team fights by just being that much stronger than opponents. As long as it's close like this, big advantage Shiphtur.
Definitely a player to give that advantage to. Shiphtur is somebody that can carry a team. We've seen even when Coast was having hard times last split, he could still come up with quadras and triple kills, and it was actually on that 6th play that he had. ZionSpartan and Ackerman get to meet up in the top lane with Zion being level 5. He's got a little bit of the upper hand in that true damage.
Yeah, this will be a very tricky matchup for Ackerman. He had a lot of success in Super Week on Shyvana, specifically after falling behind. Their game against CLG when he was against Seraph, and Seraph was very good on Jax. Ackerman still became the stronger one eventually, but for now, he's got to be playing a little bit of catch-up.
So there's Crumbzz. Vision paranoia coming into play again. He's more rightfully so rather, to do that because it's helping them win.
Yeah, and a very early Sightstone as well as Sweeper on Kiwi Kid, so they're very heavily trying to deny the vision of LMQ to maybe make them play a little bit more cautiously. LMQ is not typically a team that plays cautiously.
ZionSpartan, 75% the way to level 6. There's Ackerman just getting himself as well up to par, so Zion could easily go for a dive here quite soon. He's alone in the top lane. He's got ward coverage as Shiphtur grabs his blue up, and Dignitas definitely putting up one of the best fights we've seen so far to the LMQ early game.
Yeah, they're hitting level 6 break points a
There
little bit
it is.
earlier as well. Can he land?
Oh, over the shoulder! That was a no-look.
Rapidly firing that stuff up, and now XiaoWeiXiao is pulling off some roam of his own.
8 seconds!
Which brush? He's got to guess.
Door
Where's he
number
going?
2! Door number 2! No good! Oh, no, wait! Wow, he got out alive! Would you believe it? Man.
The slick escape, and now the Ziggs goes bottom, does not hit anything.
Oh, going clear wide on that one. More looks like he has to back up off of this. And the pressure around the map kind of sends LMQ into a flurry as Dig takes control.
Yeah, maybe they can go for the dragon here. Also, NoName gets caught on the top of the map. Things are very much going in Dignitas' favor right here. Taking a look at this fight, we missed bottom lane. They did catch Vasilii in a route, but that was to the demise of Kiwi Kid. We talked about how squishy Zyra was in those all-in situations, and that was just a little bit too much. They got caught out baiting.
Good quick focus, taking down the Kiwi Kid. There's the evolution coming in for the claws on NoName.
The skin on NoName. Yeah, making himself dark, getting that extra ultimate activation. And Zion going to continue to bully. That's a lot of creeps, though. He's going to back here.
Win back. NoName helping XiaoWeiXiao. 4 CS behind right now. Does not have the assist that Shiphtur has, so he's working nice on that Chalice, and he's still able to spit out the damage, not worrying about too much of what XiaoWeiXiao can bring back to him. Dignitas' 2 pink wards on Dragon right now allow them all the roam they need if they want to go bottom lane. Dragon already theirs, means they have control.
And here's the thing we'll need to see about LMQ as they continually get faced up in the NA LCS, is when they're ahead, we know this from Challenger, they are fantastic at closing leads because they think every play they're going to make will work. They have that type of confidence. When you fall behind, how are they going to continue their play? Are they going to continue to shoot and just go again and again into a team that is potentially stronger? It has worked for many teams in the past because if you're good enough at executing your plays, you can still pull off aggressive moves while behind. We haven't yet seen LMQ in this position in the North American LCS. They're down 1,500 gold early in the game, and they haven't actually been able to find windows. That's the challenge they face in this game.
Oh, dive and Ackerman trying to save himself. Crumbzz is there. The gap closes there.
Can he
the
land the
turret
stun?
is, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The 1, 2, 3, and the punch to end it. ZionSpartan picking himself up a kill there, and lo and behold, the solo lanes are winning.
Yeah, nice efficiency from Crumbzz, though. The solo lanes have generally benefited from what he's been doing. Zion had a lead on his own, but that's the second flash stun Crumbzz has done, which results in an immediate kill. Very good efficiency from his Elise.
Turret will be there. It looks like they're not going to hesitate any bit on this. They're going hard.
Yeah, but while Dignitas is going hard in that top lane, LMQ is setting up a big aggressive move in the bottom lane. But now the question is, how do they pull the trigger? Can Dignitas hold this one off 3v4? And is LMQ wasting time?
I like this. We usually don't see teams try to react immediately. It takes a little bit of time to formulate. But like you said, deep wards being placed by LMQ. We still got a bit of a timer on Dragon. So it looks like they don't find anything on a bit of a roam there. But they're still leaving that door open for the possibility. Crumbzz and ZionSpartan not finding any pressure in the top lane. And with the ward to stay safe, they're happy to push this one out.
Yeah, and speaking of wards, just look at the minimap right now. Especially around the bottom lane side, because that's where Dignitas is getting caught, but Kiwi Kid gets hit out. He might just die.
Solar Flare, right. Beautiful consecutive stack. The Wild Growth goes down. He's putting himself in the fight. He knows he's going down, so he's going to do it
the
valiantly. Here comes ZionSpartan in range for the Blade Surge. He is. There's the flash, the follow flash, and the follow kill. Good guy Zion actually got stunned up, but it goes to Qi-Lin.
Even though Kiwi falls, the counter initiation is there, and because Zion has such top lane supremacy over Ackerman, he can teleport completely unpunished. Another great counterplay right there by Dignitas.
Oh no.
And another near miss by Xiao.
Another one, yep. It's just kind of the way the cookie's been crumbling so far. LMQ, instead of being a few minutes ahead, a few seconds behind in all these actions that Dignitas is making.
And that's just, like you said, the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. Every game of League of Legends is different, and XiaoWeiXiao has been a fraction away from picking up some really nice plays. But especially in League of Legends, the way gold leads get out of hand, and when you miss a kill, you get more gold against you. You can't afford to miss those plays one after another. This fight, though, Qi-Lin gets cleaned into a solar flare, but that's the danger when you all-in Lucian support. You have no shutdown on Lucian, and his damage potential at level 7 is pretty much higher than any other AD carry in the game. So he gets to wreck Vasilii while they're focusing the support, and then afterwards, since it's support versus an AD carry, the top laner comes in and clean up, help CC, get a second kill for Imaqtpie.
He still had Crumbzz pressuring in the top lane because he was just with Zion, so LMQ couldn't even react to where the pressure was leaving at that point. Very good play so far by Dig. 14 minutes they're coming up on with one of the biggest leads I think we've had against LMQ coming into the LCS. Level 9 ZionSpartan says, here you go, take this for a second.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot about transitioning for ZionSpartan as well, because he had numerous top lane advantages when he was a member of Team Coast, which Team Coast could not translate into victory. Now that Dignitas' team is stronger across the board, 2 kills in the bot lane, greater farm by Shiphtur over XiaoWeiXiao, which is huge in the mid lane. Zion's roaming, 3 kills but only 68 CS. How will he balance his lane domination with transitioning help to the rest of his team?
Right now Dignitas is backing. We'll be all right, at least on map pressure for the moment. Gonna get some more wards. 3 pinks across the board, just picked up 2 more sites, and I believe that sight stone was already there, just the crystal going into QtPie's inventory, so we can start up a little more damage with the Phage. 6-2. ZionSpartan having a grand time in the top lane. Great pickups by Dignitas with Shiphtur and ZionSpartan. Really rounding out a team that kind of had some falters in closing, or even like I said, lanes, just lanes.
Yeah, I mean, Zion did miss that CS though, so still a lot of work to do. There's a player. No, I completely agree. The amount of duo queue practice they've done with Crumbzz already is yielding many positive results. You can actually see Crumbzz is seemingly ignoring his bottom lane and only ganking for the new guys. But it's working out pretty damn well for Dignitas as a team. That pink ward might be the death of somebody.
Or at least he gets vision on Dragon. Dignitas, however, they're kind of setting this one up. They knew where the pieces would fall.
Yeah. See, LMQ actually has okay vision around here, but they know they're much weaker, so do they try to go in? They're a little slow, and they get hit by Zyra.
Teleport. Beautiful job. Like you said, Jat, with the aggression LMQ brings to the table, they can swap the strategy they use, and mostly being an all-in, the Zyra pickup has been huge for Dignitas.
Yes. 5,000 gold lead. And we were talking about this 3 or 4 minutes ago, how LMQ has missed plays by fractions of a second. XiaoWeiXiao has been about a quarter of a second late on interrupting 2 recalls that probably could have given him kills. And that actually forfeited whatever advantage he may have had in the mid lane. Whenever he roams off, it gives Shiphtur on Ziggs a chance to instantly clear the wave, get 6 or 7 uncontested CS, maybe more if you can get a second wave there. And this is really the first time in LCS play that XiaoWeiXiao has been down in the mid lane, especially to Shiphtur, who in previous games had been down to every other mid laner. It just goes to show you a much different focus by Shiphtur as far as game plan to specifically play against XiaoWeiXiao.
And on Ziggs, something he knows he can keep the farm up with. Like we said, that string around his finger, reminding him to keep that attention onto the CS. Just like QtPie sees everything as a turret, which to his credit, if you look back at Super Week, I guess this would be to Vasilii's credit, 29 kills for Vasilii in Super Week. QtPie had 9 kills, but in this one, 2-0-1, it was a good thing they maybe didn't match up in those lanes.
Yeah, Vasilii had pretty much the best Super Week you could ever hope for. As an AD carry starting. Yeah, getting like 7 kills per game. Not looking like he's going to be able to get them this game, but we cannot underestimate the team fight presence of this LMQ team composition.
Right.
Shyvana Lulu with the Twitch AoE, the reset potential from NoName's Kha'Zix when he hits level 11, and the initiation power of more. If LMQ can catch a slightly sloppy Dignitas in certain situations, that 5,000 gold lead could actually not mean that much.
You usually see, looking at more, kind of that Thresh pickup, that Morgana pickup, something that can lull you into a false sense of security. If you're going in with Leona, you know to disengage. QtPie going hard here. He's going to get Ackerman to feel like he's safe for a second.
They want to fight this though.
Yeah. Whoa! Going for the Dragon's Descent. No slow to come out for Ackerman. Eats the culling. Gets an ult out. Ult for an ult. Not too bad there.
One step behind. really, for LMQ there. They were trying to roam through the jungle. They were a little bit late, but once again, they roamed right through a Dignitas ward. Dignitas' ward control has been absolutely immaculate. They buy more wards than any other team. Crumbzz buys more wards than any other jungler, and they are using them for great aggressive plays around the map this match.
Right now, taking a breath. Really great lead for Dignitas coming in. Baron still on the map, though. No history repeats itself. This could be a longer game, but at 18 minutes, Dignitas is looking to close the door on LMQ and tie up that first place. Slow, uh-oh. A little bit of a bushwhack, possibly. LMQ.
This is more trying to find a fight.
More, always the one in the front. I was just saying, if when he's on Morgana or Thresh, like he said, he'll lull you into a false sense of security. I'm out of position. Oh, I grabbed a minion. Come get me.
Yeah.
There's my team.
And as you can see, the thing that prevented that more so than the flash was the ward around LMQ's buff. They just managed to sweep that one out, and Dignitas actually, for the first time in this game, doesn't have many deep wards. There's only kind of one ward in enemy territory if you look at the map right now. I think LMQ might even need to invest in more sweepers, which is one of the most difficult things to do when you're behind in the game, because you need vision yourself when you're trying to get caught out. But with the way LMQ plays Riv, they need to go for so many aggressive plays, especially with the Leona Twitch. They need to be able to sneak up on people, and they can't do that if Dignitas keeps spamming wards across the map like they are now.
It's like Dignitas, look at their inventory right now, from anywhere. It's like they have a rule that if there is a blank square, you got to fill it with a ward.
Yeah. That's absolutely what they're doing. Do you have 6 items in your inventory?
Yeah.
All right. Put wards there.
Put wards there. If you got the gold, put some more in. Going to be useful. 31.1 thousand to just about 26. So Dignitas hasn't been able to stretch the gold lead for a little bit of time now. Or take down this mid turret, which would really help to open up the map against LMQ. Something they still know how to control is their map. See if they can keep that.
Well, ZionSpartan has his teleport up. Imaqtpie is nowhere to be found, though. He's trying to clear this away. 5v1 in the mid lane, and LMQ gets taken really low.
Wow.
The longer Dignitas can prevent these recalls, the more turrets LMQ is going to lose. Ackerman probably going to make it back here, though, but Dignitas is trying to pressure the side lanes.
This is LMQ really being put into a sticky situation. You got Qi-Lin pushing the turret in the top lane still. It's going to be Crumbzz coming over to help him, and like you said, LMQ was backing, but now they're not. That turret will be lost. They get a kill onto Kiwi, who's already died 3 times, not giving up much
Vasilii.
gold. Vasilii looking quite scared. Wow, this is
a pink ward.
Oh,
no.
He finds it! Very nicely done. Shiphtur coming up with kills for himself. Vasilii with an error on that one, and 7-3 as Dignitas gets a huge leap there.
The last bounce of the bomb, and now everyone on LMQ is low. They didn't even get that mid turret, and Dignitas can shove down this mid lane. Stun lands.
Oh, the bomb coming out. Hiding next to a wall is so dangerous, especially when you're trying to dodge skill shots. It just makes it easier for the other person to hit, as you can see. 30 seconds on Dragon. I think Dig's even strong enough to stay for this. They not even want to.
Yeah, just more itemization edges is all they're going for. Fantastic. Wow. CS on Shiphtur, 240 at 21 minutes. Not even 21 minutes.
Yeah.
Is quite huge. Oh, can't steal away the big Wraith, but ZionSpartan still.
For what we thought was going to happen in the mid lane, it's the complete opposite.
Yeah, you can tell that was an absolute focus of Dignitas, mainly from even champion select, picking Ziggs, just knowing he needed to be able to clear the waves as quickly as possible to try and offset that LMQ aggression.
Yep. Another Dragon coming in for Dig. Ackerman with a canceled TP in that last engagement, so he will not be able to join the team from afar. He's going to be hugging hips right now with Moore, and the fog of war is their friend. They got a pink ward in the brush, and they're looking for straight initiations. Whenever they can get it, they're going back into royal mode, if you will.
Yeah.
If they can.
Oh no, LMQ actually sweeps, but doesn't go all the way in for the pink ward. A missed opportunity there to get rid of another Dignitas vision spot. There's nowhere LMQ can go that's not really seen. Finally, they go back to get the pink ward. Dignitas is going to probably want to control this Baron area, as dangerous as that may seem for a Dignitas team. But 8,000 gold up, much stronger. You gotta be careful not to get caught in against a Twitch ult, because we know Twitch plus Xivana and Lulu can be incredibly potent at the Baron area. But the time is now for Dignitas. This is the natural progression of achieving victory.
Ackerman trying to throw Ruby Crystals together for HP in his build. Just finishes up the Merc Treads, so he's going for a lot of defense in what we saw, the offensive blade of the Rune King, Shyvana, earlier today. ZionSpartan outside of Vasilii, level 12, level 12.
What's he gonna get?
That's gonna be painful. There's a shot, he's gonna go invis. That's gonna be a few more hits. Won't see much, but this is Vasilii being backed off. LMQ is never ready to fight with their own, the team, rather.
I mean, now Dignitas has vision control around the Baron Pit if LMQ wants to go in there, basically checking blind. And Dignitas knows that for at least the next while, Vasilii can't be there while Zion's teleport is up. They catch him.
Bing, bang, boom! Down goes XiaoWeiXiao. Down goes more as he tries to get into the fight. NoName knows that is not something he wants to toy with. The slow goes down. The attack is coming in. He's only got so long to get out of this one, and it's actually going to cost him the Summoner Flash. Huge plays by Dignitas and control over Baron Pit.
I mean, it's absolute vision control. LMQ is going to continue to pile into this because this is what they do. They keep trying until there's absolutely nothing left. Look for Ackerman to try and go in on this.
Smite is there. Ackerman could get the fight. No! Crumbzz coming up very nicely on the Smite. Ackerman doing what he can. A great heal coming out there from Shiphtur on the Summoner spell, and it's going to be a big chase.
Oh, wow!
Oh, he knocks it down! Over the head of Crumbzz, playing monkey in the middle. Able to take down Ackerman.
Shiphtur's had a couple of those last bounce of the bouncing bomb for the kills. Ackerman thought he'd gotten out free after that valiant attempt, but in the end, he just gives more power to Dignitas' mid laner.
Shiphtur making fantasy teams happy around the world. 4-0-1 now as he has his Rabadons already suited up. 24 minutes into the game, 2 items with a blasting wand and finish boots. Dignitas is on a rampage right now.
Yeah, taking another look at this one, you can see ZionSpartan's distracting as much as possible while it's going on. And they can't hide anywhere. All the brushes aren't brushes anymore as long as there's Dignitas wards inside of them. That was just another kill in the scatter that LMQ tried to do around the Baron Pit.
It's like a light bright in the bottom half of the jungle. Look at all the red wards. Also, pink wards on the Baron. These guys are ready. And Crumbzz is breaking his own rule. He's got an empty spot. Maybe he just hasn't been backed by another ward. Looks like cleanup on the red buff. This is going to go to Ackerman so he can stay on the stick. Oh no, here comes Vasilii. That's what I thought.
Yeah, Vasilii's still not even completed the second item, whereas Imaqtpie is about 800 gold away from finishing his last Whisper. Complete disparity across the board. That's what happens when you have a 13,000 gold disadvantage. LMQ has not been beaten like this.
No, that's what I was just going to say. It's our first time really seeing LMQ kind of struggle and find what to do.
Yeah.
Different gameplay. Not a lot of this, but this is what teams kind of talked about in scrims. They said, yeah, we beat LMQ in scrims. This happens. We'll win the laning phase, but nobody's really been able to produce that result until now. So it looks like LMQ can be taken down eventually. Yeah. You still got time in this game. A huge lead from Dig. It looks like they could solidify this one within the next 10.
Yeah, and this is what can happen oftentimes in League of Legends, especially with the way LMQ opened this game. They got hit really quick by Dignitas, and Dignitas never relented their pressure. From the very first blood, they gained ward control. They never let LMQ have the lanes they wanted to have, and every time LMQ made a move, Dignitas made a better one.
Oh my gosh, across the board, 2 practically bleeding members of LMQ heading for the fountain. ZionSpartan's just going to join middle. He does not have to split push. Comes in. The inhibitor goes down. 1:15 on Dragon. They should be back and forth. If they don't, just go for bottom.
Yeah, they got a big minion wave in the bottom lane that Ackerman's trying to get rid of, but will he actually get caught on himself? Stun misses. And Dignitas plays safe.
Smartly done. Siege wave coming in. This should give Qi-Lin a few shots with that Xian on the turret. Actually does not even... Oh, he does. I was looking at Twitch. With the Xian proc on the turret. Oh, the Solar Flare hitting 3. That's going to be a big Ziggs bomb. And the Stranglethorn coming up. Very nicely done. And it looks like they are once again pushing LMQ off the inhibitor turret. Textbook Dig push.
Yeah, Dignitas is completely unstoppable at this point, and it is to LMQ style that they would try and find a fight there because they are not the team to just watch you beat them. They will always try and go in, and this time they're just too far behind. That fight had very low chance of working.
Dignitas going around the horn on this one. ZionSpartan already split pushing in the top lane. A great pickup as well for him on the team. Dignitas loves to be a split push team, whether it's 1-3-1 or just straight to your base in a 1-2. They're going to do it this way. 27 minutes, they're in, and they've just cleaned out the inhibitors.
Once you get 3 inhibitors, it's pretty much a GG.
Yeah.
27 minutes in, especially when Dignitas is only missing 1 outer turret. This is about as complete of a victory that you can achieve. And they've done it over LMQ, who was the first place 4-0 team in the North American LCS, the only remaining LCS team that was still undefeated. but not for long, because Dignitas has really made a statement in this one.
Oh, yeah. ZionSpartan with the red elixir buy. That is the close-out purchase. They are looking to make one last fight. Be the ender. They're going to have Crumbzz go back. He'll put some more wards in. ZionSpartan even bought another pink ward. This far and this ahead in the game, they still feel that controlling any part of the map is prime.
They're making sure that there's no possible situation that Vasilii could sneak up behind them on Twitch.
Absolutely.
Even though if he did, with the 18,000 gold advantage, I don't think he would do much.
Needs that Infinity Edge, if anything. Right now, he's already working against armor. I mean, Kale's Crucible coming in for Crumbzz, because I think just because he wanted to, because he could. And then Morel and Namicon for KVK.
I'm actually a little surprised that Crumbzz doesn't just build Sightstone as a normal item on his junglers because of the sheer volume of wards he buys. I imagine it's just because he doesn't want to sink that cost at the start of the game. You know, it's okay to build cheap wards 2 times every time you go back to base, and he can't like gradually build into that Sightstone. But if he ever got a few kills early on in the game, I wouldn't be too surprised if he didn't put it immediately into a Sightstone just to maintain the vision control he holds so dear. This should be the final push. 2 double super minion waves in every lane and a 18,000 gold.
Double Triforce as well. These turrets are not going to have a fun time. One goes down, and it was really just super minions. More low. LMQ dives in. This is what they know to do, but it's not working out with the same result. That's Vasilii almost going down. The Wild Growth save. They take him down to the fountain. What a game from Dignitas. 29 minutes on the clock, and they'll share first place with LMQ.
Yeah, that one's gotta feel pretty good for Dignitas.
Wow.
They beat LMQ in under 30 minutes. LMQ is known to play fast, but that is usually in victory, not so much in defeat. And Dignitas kind of redeems themselves after letting themselves slip at the end of last week's Super Week. Hugs come in for Vasilii. He has a lot of solo queue experience against all these Dignitas guys. XiaoWeiXiao as well.
Yeah, the hug between the mid laners, our second featured matchup of the day. We kind of put Shiphtur on the box and said he does not CS well against his opponents. XiaoWeiXiao does. 42 CS up on XiaoWeiXiao at the end of the game.
Yeah, and there's actually not that many critics for Shiphtur, but if there are some, he kind of answered them in that game with that CS performance, showing that there's many ways he can play mid lane, and he just decides which one to do based on the game.
You know, Crumbzz said it in the beginning. I think our solo lanes are stronger, and to a degree, you know, I kind of believe him. To a degree, I didn't. But just listen to these scores: ZionSpartan 4-0-7, Crumbzz 2-0-10, Shiphtur 5-0-6.
Yeah. And I mean, it might even be
6-0-7.
It might even be more important to look at the other side, Ackerman, who had such a great Super Week. 5th game on Shyvana, 0-5-0.
Yeah.
With only 201 CS. Definitely not the performance he was looking for.
And for me to think about that, you know, I'm LMQ, and they obviously know where the mistakes were made, what happened, but it happened so quickly. You're almost taken by surprise, and you think, how do we regroup from that?
I mean, they're going to have to do it in a day because it's not like things get any easier from here on out. They're playing Cloud9 tomorrow, and they have a lot of thinking to do after this one. I mean, I think if you're LMQ here and you're trying to regroup after getting run over by Dignitas, you just kind of think of how many near misses they had. I don't think they're going to make any huge changes after one game. There's a lot of success to be found with their aggressive play style. XiaoWeiXiao did leave his lane a few times, split second late. So it'll be very interesting to see how his play evolves against High, another mid laner who is very likely to leave his lane. Does he try and follow like he kind of did against, or even leaving his lane in this game? Does he continue to do that? Or does he just stick to his lane and focus on just trying to beat up on High, which I think would play more to his strengths?
Well, we will have to see some amazing play. Crumbzz obviously doing what he needed to in a day of solo queue on Elise. Figure that out.
It didn't work out the game I watched against ZionSpartan. But it did work out this time. They were playing Irelia and Elise in that one. So practice makes perfect.
It's a crazy dive team because you're in and out with both of the champions. They knew what they were doing, and something Dignitas and LMQ reflect in their plays is the sheer fact that everybody's in on the call.
Yeah.
There's no kind of back and forth. Everybody knows what they're doing, and you saw that with Crumbz's ganks. Flashing gauges. Zion was right there, like you said. Crumbzz worked heavily with Zion and Shiphtur when they started on Dig, and it paid off.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance from Dignitas. Now, first place in the NA LCS.
All right, so to hear more from Dignitas on their commanding win, let's send it over to Freak and Kobe at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much for joining us, the analysts. We have ZionSpartan and Crumbzz. You guys victorious and now tied for first place in the LCS. Was that where you expected to be at the beginning of week 2?
Yeah, we did.
You're just like, yeah, we're going to kill everybody. Even leading into the season as a whole, before you even played in Super Week, went 3-1 there, were you like, Dignitas, this is the team where we're going to win North America?
Yeah, as soon as we knew what we're going to be, who we were going to be playing against, who's going to be helping us out, I knew that this team was going to go places.
Well, I got a comment, Crumbzz. You went with an extremely supportive jungler build here. Is it because you got these shiny new solo laners that you have full confidence in to carry the game now? Not only did you go like the defensive CDR Elise, but you also got a Mikhail's in the end. And like Jack keeps repeating, you buy the most wards ever. Like you spend so much money for the rest of your team. Is that because of the new guys you brought in, or is that just your current jungle philosophy?
I mean, that's always how I wanted to play, and I feel like I wasn't able to find that play style way back. And then now that I feel like I can finally play the way I want to play, just help out everyone in the beginning, and then I'm basically another support that just helps out with ganks. Like just heavily war, like a lot of wars. I mean, the champions in the jungle they're not in Irelia, they're not as they're not going to kill anyone. So might as well just use that ability to be strong early to just start snowballing a lead for everybody else that can eventually carry in the remaining of the game. So
speaking of not being Irelia, actually, Zion, you were Irelia. You did one. My segues are great. You did freaking awesome that game. So I have a couple questions for you on this one. One, we don't see a ton of Irelia yet still from top laners. First of all, why is that?
She's just one of those champions where it's like, okay, Jax and Shyvana are really strong, and there's a really high chance I'm going to do well on those champions because they're just extremely strong right on the top lane meta. Like I think they're the 2 strongest champions. And then you have Irelia. What I see her is she's kind of like a weaker Jax, and I think she takes a lot more skill to play than Jax, which like is one of my best champions in the current meta because all you do is you just mash your face to the keyboard and just start going away, and then you end up legendary because he's just that strong. That's how I feel. But Irelia, you actually there's a little bit of finesse to her, I feel, and it's really about using your advantage to get ahead in lane and then being strong. If you don't get ahead with Irelia, she just falls really far behind, and she's not that strong of a tank compared to like a Renekton or a Shyvana. So
what do you think about the European build? Do you feel like you should always rush Trinity Force on Irelia, or do you like the European build going heavily investing into move speed?
I think it's just kind of everybody has their own like little flavor, like play style to the champion. Like Wicked like kind of brought up like, hey, I'm gonna split push with all this move speed, and it's really great if you just want to be annoying and you're like, hey, you can't catch me, and like just keep running away from people. But I kind of like the Irelia that goes in and can team fight, and that's why I like going Trinity Force and then going tank rather than getting all that move speed in. It's kind of it's kind of your own preference, really.
Okay, well, of course that worked out for you guys. But speaking of getting ahead in the game, we have our first replay of 2. It's about 10 minutes into the game. You guys kind of duo up in the top lane and get a kill on Ackerman. If we can pull the replay up. Why don't you guys sort of walk me through this fight?
So basically the first thing Crumbzz asks is, does he have flash? And if that's like the most important thing to communicate. And I said, no, I think he used it. I'm pretty sure he used it. So then right away he tries to go up for the creep. So I just get a free stun on him because I'm lower health than him. And then Crumbzz just flashes in for a beautiful flash cocoon, and then we just pick up the kill. I'm just really strong.
Yeah. So he forces the ulti right here, and then as soon as he ultis immediately, I know that I can go for a flash cocoon. So I just walk up and just line myself up, and then just get as close to him as possible so there's less movement, less place for him to juke. So that pretty much guarantees a cocoon. So I could have waited probably even a little bit longer to just get even closer to him, and that's pretty much a point-blank cocoon. There's no need to try to throw it from max distance. He has no flash. I'll take mine for a kill any day.
So you go for a lot of flash cocoons. You went for the one in the mid lane for your first blood gank, or I guess the second blood gank. Like, why are you so just about burning your flash to just guarantee a kill comes in?
I mean, the kill's there. If I can flash and get it, I'll take it. That's pretty much it. A lot of times, I feel like the cocoon mechanic, the flash cocoon, is really strong. It's a long range, like you're maxing it seconds, so it's got a long duration with a short cooldown. If you can get one, that's pretty much like a guaranteed pick already, just because you have good damage, and if you think about the play beforehand, you should know whether you can go for it or not. I mean, it's just the play shows up and I need flash, I'll take it.
It's a very high percentage shot. I like it. Now, talking about the early game, though, I want to go back a little bit. Talk about you guys planning coming into this, because you guys had a very successful invade early on in this game that really set the tone for the entire rest of the game. Was this plan tailored against LMQ, or was it just fortunate that they didn't have defensive wards up that would see you coming in?
We just play on the fly. I mean, we just thought about it on the fly. Let's do it. That's it.
Yep.
All right, no forward planning. Just
So a follow-up then, like, have you started to sort of categorize other LCS teams and pick out weak points so that you can bring up strategies beforehand that will specifically be very successful against certain teams, trying to play on their tendencies?
Less than weak points is more about instead of trying to look to exploit people's weak points, I think it's better to just counter their strengths. So if you exploit their weak points, perhaps their strengths to just rise out and just take over. But if you just shut down whatever they're strong at, their strongest thing is, and their weak points aren't going to carry. So you should win that way.
Well, speaking of team strengths and weaknesses, though, we have...
that was a good one. Now, this is a good one.
Yeah, we have our second replay. It's a Baron fight. You guys didn't expect that one coming in. Yeah, well, for the second time, or multiple times in a row now, you guys had a really good Baron. If we can put that one up on the screen. I know, Zion, you said it was until week 4 you'd have a Baron throw, so if you want to walk us through this replay.
Yep, still a couple more weeks to go. So we start the Baron, and we know I just burned Twitch's heal. He had to recall. So we're baiting it, and they just walk right into us. They've got no vision. We've got Elise and Ziggs. Like, we could easily be doing it. And my thought process is, hey, I'm going to make sure Kha'Zix gets a little chunked, so when he comes for Baron, it's hard for him to do it. So I blow his flash and his ulti, and then basically it's really hard for them to contest the Baron because we've got really good vision control. And Ackerman tries to walk up, but Kha'Zix just isn't there. And Crumbzz smites the Baron because nobody can contest it. And we clean up NoName and we clean up Ackerman, and then Shiphtur lands a beautiful QR right there, and boom. From there, the game's pretty set.
Yeah, that's the aftermath of all the money you spent on wards finally paying off.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I'll feed them to carry. I don't have to do anything. It's pretty much I just play 10 minutes of warding and trying to gank, and then from then on, I just let them do whatever they want to do.
So actually, yeah, I mean, it works really well. I have a follow-up, actually, based on your supportive build. So Qi-Lin playing a lot of Zyra recently, and every single time he seems to play Mage Zyra. He's like haunted guys and Merlin every time. Does this work better because you're such a supportive play style and are there for the front line, or is it just like, it's Qi-Lin, he'll do whatever?
I think it's irrelevant. I think support Zyra, if you go full AP, is probably just way better because it does so much damage. Like, her base numbers are so huge with the plants, especially if you get like Morello's that on-hit ability, the Leandries. Those spells are so useful during a team fight that if support Zyra gets ahead, it's so hard to come back against her if she goes damage. She goes support, she's still just a squishy plant. Like if she's actual damage, she can deal more damage than your actual AP carry. So I feel like it's not so much relevant to the ward coverage that I bring. It's more just how the champion works.
Yeah.
Now that you guys have tied it up for first place, is there anybody who you're looking over your shoulder who do you think is the #1 contender to take you guys down?
Looking at Worlds.
Looking at Worlds.
Not looking over your shoulder, looking forward in time, looking at the future.
Looking for the Koreans. TSM tomorrow. Okay. How's that game going to go?
I think we're going to beat TSM.
I think
they looked really... CLGZ destroyed them.
So to be fair, last time you were on this desk, you said you don't understand any teams, but Curse will going to be easy.
Yeah, I'm not taking it back.
Don't underestimate anybody except maybe Curse.
Were you? Okay,
that's what he said.
I think it's going to be a good match. The teams are kind of weird right now because like the first couple weeks, and there's like LMQ, TSM, CLG, C9, and like us, and even Curse. Like everybody kind of has their good days and their bad days, and I could easily see TSM being really good and a hard team to beat, but it honestly depends who comes to play. And TSM didn't look so great today. Maybe tomorrow Reggie gives them a pep talk. They're ready. They really want to win, and it'll be a great match. But we'll see. I think it'll be a good match either way. But yeah, I don't think we're guaranteed to win or anything. It'll be a good game.
Okay. All right. It'll be a good game versus it's going to be no sweat. We'll see which one ends up being.
I'm getting that they're confident.
I'm getting a bit of
Just a little bit.
A little bit. Well, you guys are in first place, guys. Congratulations. We'll see you tomorrow against TSM. Got to go ward our jungles real quick. Crumbzz might help, but when we come back, it's time for our final LCS match of the day. Cloud9 versus Curse. 2014 Summer Split continues right after this.
They should talk to me. They should talk dirty to you. Nah,
Yeah, they're hitting level 6
Six.
breakpoints a little bit earlier as well. Can he land? Oh, over the shoulder! Side because that's where Dignitas is getting caught, but Qi-Lin gets hit out. He might just
Solar
die.
flare, right. Beautiful consecutive stack. The wild growth goes down. He's putting himself in the fight. He knows he's going down, so he's going to do it
the GP.
valiantly. Here comes ZionSpartan in range for the Blade Surge. He is. There's the flash, the follow flash, and the follow kill.
Vasilii can't be there while Zion's teleport is up. They catch him.
Bing bang boom! Down goes XiaoWeiXiao. Down goes more as he tries to get into the fight with the Sheen proc on the turret. Oh, the solar flare hit 3. That's going to be a big Ziggs bomb. And the Stranglethorn coming up. Very nicely done.